And, largely, when you talk about SNAP, you're talking about largely Democrats. But I'm president. I want to help everybody. I want to help Democrats and Republicans. But when you're talking about SNAP, if you look, it's largely Democrats. They're hurting their own people. Thank you very much, everybody.
So that was Donald Trump trying to pass the buck on his shutdown and blame the Democrats and say that they are hurting their own voters by not allowing SNAP to go out, when the truth is this is Donald Trump's shutdown. He controls the government. And like he said in the past, a government shutdown would be the fault of the president. So I'm always going to circle back to that. But there's so much wrong with what he said right there, because so many red states across this country depend on SNAP benefits. 690,000, I believe it is, here in Tennessee depend on it. And when I say that, I'm not talking about people who are mooching the system or trying to screw people over. That's how that the MAGA and the Republicans have always tried to spin it, that it's lazy people mooching off the system. That's not the case at all. In so many cases, this is working people who are working sometimes 2 to 3 jobs and doing every side hustle they can possibly do, and they still can't get ahead enough in the world to make ends meet. And so they turn to a little bit of government assistance. Some people are lucky enough, and I kind of say that sarcastically, some people are, able to get $187 a month, and then there's some people out there it gets like $20. And how far in the world would that take you these days? It sure as hell wouldn't go very far. But they're going to continue to try to blame this on Democrats and duck and dodge any and all responsibility. And I do not understand how Mike Johnson gets off saying that he's tired. I don't know exactly what it is that he's doing that's causing him to be so tired, because he ain't doing a damn thing. And I also don't understand, when he says that he's been up at night, he can't sleep. I really don't think it's over the government being shut down. I believe if old Moses Mike will be honest with us, there's a whole lot that's running through his conscience right now, and he's probably having a hard time sleeping at night for reasons that's in those Epstein files, but that's another story. I want to play this clip right here of attorney Brooke Rollins talking, and she just lays the blame on the government. She tells the truth. And we'll watch this clip, and then we'll watch how quickly Mike Johnson ain't having it.
Because reality is setting in for a lot of people this weekend. So what do you say to the millions of people who stand to lose their food stamp benefits? What should they do?
My message to America is, first, the fact that your government is failing you right now. That poverty is not red or blue. It is not a Republican or Democrat issue. It doesn't matter who you voted for, or even if you voted. That if you are in a position where you can't feed your family and you're relying on that $187 a month for an average family in the SNAP program, that we have failed you.
You can see Mike Johnson is so uncomfortable right there, and he's sitting there going, wait a minute, I got my script in my mind. Hold on, I'm supposed to blame this on Democrats. Let me have the microphone. And so here he goes.
Clarify, when she says we have failed you, she means we, the Democrats, okay? Because as we've just explained, Republicans have voted 14 times to get this done. The president...
Yeah, he had to get out front real quick and play Donald Trump's favorite hit, which is blame everything on the Democrats. But the one thing I'd like to talk about is this. If you could roll back the clock and go back 1 year ago today, if you could just roll the clock back and go back 1 year ago today, you would hear Republicans doing nothing but complain about grocery prices. That's all you would hear them doing. They would be talking about the price of eggs. They would be talking about the grocery bill and how they could not afford to buy food in this country. And they talked about it because at that particular time, it was all about them and their struggles, and that's all we heard. I don't remember hearing anyone out there complaining at that moment about anyone getting SNAP benefits. I don't remember anyone bringing that subject up because they were too busy complaining about their own struggles to punch down at someone else. Donald Trump gets reelected. The prices don't go down. I know they're not down because I'm shopping at the same store they're shopping at. I'm going through the same drive-through they're going through. I know they're not getting a discount, and I know their lives aren't any better. If you look at their lives a year ago versus now, tell me what is actually better. What has made their lives better, and how is it that they're paying their bills is easier for them? It's not. The only thing that MAGA has today that they didn't have a year ago is they have Donald Trump as their president again, and they can pretend as though they've owned the libs. They can pretend as though they have one-upped us in an argument. And it's so ridiculous to me that we went from them talking about we can't afford groceries to switching now and going back to the basics of punching down on those that can't afford groceries and telling them to get another job. Well, the problem is they're already working 2 jobs. The problem is they're already door dashing and Ubering and doing every side hustle they can to try to make ends meet in this world, and they still can't get ahead. And you want to sit and talk about all the money that goes around this world, and they had such a problem with money going to Ukraine. And they used to say, hey, if we could have that money back we sent to Ukraine, we could help people here in our country. And they sit back now and they watch Donald Trump send $40 billion to bail out Argentina before he bails out Americans. And then when we point that out, they go, oh, see, Trump's making you mad. We owned you. It's so ridiculous that they consider owning the libs when we point out that they've been played. They turn it and say, well, you all are just mad at Trump. You all make everything about Trump. You all have Trump derangement syndrome. You just can't quit talking about him. No, we can't quit pointing out the fact that he just keeps rubbing your face in shit and you keep enjoying it. And it's causing other people to suffer. It's causing people that did not vote for this and people that weren't part of the political system and didn't vote and didn't know what's going on and still don't. And it also caused a lot of children who were completely innocent in all of this to go hungry. We're sitting here calling this stuff out daily, and I will be as long as there's breath in my lungs. I'll be sitting here calling this stuff out. And there is one type of person that I never want to be around. There's one type of person I don't want to have a beer with. There's one type of person I'm not going to mail a Christmas card to. And that's the kind of person that sits and punches down at the people who are beneath them. I believe in lifting people up. I believe in helping people. I believe in being there for people. I do not believe in punching down. To me, it's a cowardly thing to do. I was sitting there listening to that song a couple of years ago, I ain't gonna buy my fudge rounds, or whatever the fuck the guy said. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm feeling everything he was saying. That Oliver Anthony dude, I'm going, yeah, man, overtime hours for bullshit pay. Yeah, I'm listening, brother. Keep going. And then, oh, my tax dollars that go to buy a box of fudge rounds. And I'm like, what a puss. What an absolute wimp. Johnny Cash will kick your ass. You didn't have the balls to punch up at the billionaires who's making your life miserable. But they're getting ballrooms, and they're getting jets from Qatar, and they're getting every kind of business deal in the world. And that's okay according to old James Comer Powell, because as long as he's admitting it out loud, it's all right. And yeah, watch Brando get worked up about it. Boy, we owned him. You didn't own nothing. The only thing that got owned was you, lock, stock, and barrel by Donald Trump. Anyone that ever thought they one-upped us or owned the libs, just know we were never sitting over here going, man, we were sure we're had by that guy. Boy, MAGA sure got us. We never thought that. It never went through our head. We were sitting over here embarrassed for you, and we were sitting over here upset at the fact that you kept dragging us down and just wanting to win an internet beef. You just wanted to be the internet troll of the day instead of helping other people. I hope in time, I hope one day we can move past this and we can get back to being decent human beings who believe in helping one another and who believe in lifting people up and who believe in feeding the poor and clothing the naked and giving the thirsty something to drink and visiting those who are sick and welcoming the strangers. And yes, I'm quoting Jesus Christ, who the Republicans left in the dust years ago, but I would love to see us get back to that. But I have a feeling one day, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, there's going to be people that will be dedicated to studying this time in American history. They're going to study this downfall. They're going to look back on it, and they're going to go, how in the hell did that happen? Now, it might not be Americans doing that study. There's a good chance that it won't be us doing that study. We'll probably just be sitting here, whatever's left, it'll be like Idiocracy. There'll be no crops. They'll just be drinking Brando because they'll think water only goes in toilets. And they'll have a president who's a pro wrestler and a porn star. Actually, we're already there.